For regional or national, the nursing process is being used. To keep up with best practice, regional initiatives for care plan was established, and therefore health regions in Norway started collaborating with each other to make national care plans. There is now a national common initiative, and the national and regional care plans are based on current scientific studies and are revised every 3 years. These standardized care plans act as both knowledge support and decision support for clinical nurses in their day-to-day care. I know. Okay, thank you. Snowstorm is an open source technology server provided by SNOMED International, and it's built on top of Elasticsearch with a focus on performance and enterprise scalability. Snowstorm levels perform queries against the SNOMED CT content in SNOMED CT. Although Snowstorm provides terminology service, only SNOMED CT is supported. This includes all versions of SNOMED CT, local languages, and extensions, both national or local. Snowstorm includes 2 APIs to access the terminology. Its native API, which uses Swagger to describe its structures and documentation, and a Fire API, which uses the HappyFire libraries. It's all available through GitHub, where you will find documentation for setup and use. On the left side, you see how Snowstorm or Swagger looks like in the user interface. And down here, you see different endpoints that you can use to query the data. In the other side, you see a few examples of our service we are using in Norway. The QA server we use to check content before production, and next is our production server. I'm sorry. The last one is our demo server, and it's and for today's use case, this is the demo server I will show you. I will show you one endpoint for the ref set we made, just to illustrate for you how we have built it up. We will here use the endpoint search for ref sets numbers for the ref set Norway to retrieve the information about this concept. I'm sorry. Wrong. I have to find the branch, provide the branch, and I have to put in the concept ID for the reference. And here you see I have set the limit for 200. And down here you have a button, and you can click on try it out. The response from the server you find here in the response body. So this is the information which corresponds to the concept I just looked up. The request URL you find up here, you can copy and paste into another tab browser, and it makes the response easier for you to read. And then it looks like this. Here I have marked something in yellow. This is the sequence number, and the target sequence number show you how we made the different ref set. We have done it this way to ensure the dependencies between the concept in the care plan that lays in Snowstorm. We know that this isn't true to the practical guide to reference set, but this illustrates where we are now in the work in progress. So, where did we start? The standardized care plans are made and maintained in Word documents and Excel files, but they don't live anywhere where system can access the information. Some of these kind of documents around open up for human errors and deteriorations of information, and it's not format that is suitable for the distribution. So the Norwegian NRC decided to try to get the plans into Snowstorm. We did a test plan to see if it could be done, and we've chosen the plan for diabetes. We started with the Excel files and manually restricted information concept by concept into Notepad, as you see here. Then we pasted this into Swagger and ran a trial out test, just as I showed you before. This plan has had 85 different concepts, and it was a laborious quest. There was also risk of human errors because of the manual work we did. And in this test, we had to borrow an existing ref set for the test, and we used a general dentistry diagnostic reference set and added each concept one at a time into the ref set in Snowstorm. The test was successful. We have now proved that it was possible to put the care plans into the server, and now we only had to find a smarter and more efficient method of doing it. Further on, we made a simple type ref set in the Norwegian extension. We also found a way to structure Excel files into a new format with the ref set ID that was possible to upload all the plans directly into Snowstorm. Here we see some of the plans, few examples, and it's the care plan for anxiety, care plan for diabetes, care plan for nausea, and care plan for psychotic disorder. This is very, very small, I see. But the most important here is we have the ref set ID to all the plans, and here is the ECL we have built just to ensure the dependencies that lies in the care plan. I'll just go on. We have also programmed a simple demo to show how the care plan can look like and act in an EHR. This prototype retrieves data directly from Snowstorm. In the right corner, you have the possibility to change languages. Here you see the Norwegian and the English, but I'm sorry. But the terminology server is able to fetch any other languages too. For today's demo, I will use the English. Here at the left side, you have a drop-down list where we find the standardized.
Sorry, Beate, can we just move the microphone up
Okay, sorry.
so they can hear you?
Yes. In the left side, you have a drop-down list where you will find all the national plan we have made in the server. And here is a few examples of the plans. There are 34 national standardized care plans for use in the specialist care. There are also around 34 plans made for the primary care, but they are now being revised. But we look at the opportunity to get them into Snowstorm as well. In Norway, we have the patient security program, and several of the national standardized care plans originated from this initiative. One example you can see here, the national standardized care plan for fall prevention. After receiving a new patient at the hospital today, I have to document further following up in the EHR. The patient has been suffering from nausea for the past few weeks, and in the EHR, I add the template care plan for nausea. When I've selected a plan, I will get the opportunity to select from a problem list lies in the standard care plan for nausea. And the patient I have had today described the problem as alteration in nutrition less than body requirements. I also want to select an outcome for my patient today. And this is a drop-down list that gives me different choices. And here I will choose the outcome nutritional intake within normal limits. The last thing I want to do is to select which intervention that's relevant for my patient today. In the list here, you will see several intervention, and in the standardized care plan for nausea, there are variables. But this is what I have possible to show you here today. This example you see here with the care plan, with the problem, and the outcome and the intervention is how it will look for me as a nurse, as a decision support. Here you can see I have selected 3 following up intervention for this patient. I have chosen the weight monitoring, nutritional monitoring, and nutrition education. In a real EHR, you will have the patient's name, but I have written in my name here today, and then I can press the button Save, because this is just the system support, and I want to make an individual care plan for the patient. So that's the care plan for the Beate Kristiansen. You see the diagnosis, the outcome, and the intervention are going to follow up. So this is the individual care plan. In the real EHR, You can combine plan if there are comorbidity. Or you can just look in a different plan for a specific diagnosis and get suggestions for interventions from there. So I feel I'm talking too fast, but so that was what I have to show you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Beate. We'll now take some questions from the audience. If anyone's got any questions. That was it's quite nice to see what NRCs are doing with the terminology and using technology within their organisations to do some great stuff with the care plans. And I suppose, Beate, what sort of level of the standardised care plans are you planning on adding to Snowstorm?
What level? What
level of the standardised care plans are you adding?
Yes. The plans we have into Snowstorm today is the national plans that are planned to be used in all the hospitals EHR in Norway.
Okay. Is there any plans to do anything more locally, or are you sort of concentrating just on having a central national repository?
No, many of the firm's plans, we have about 200 plans that are regional, but we haven't decided yet if we also get them into Snowstorm. But we have an initiative for the primary care, and we want also them to be at the national level.
Okay, that's great. Any other questions from the audience at all? Well, it definitely is a Friday afternoon. Oh, we've got one there. I'll pass over.
Usually care plans do have certain relationships. Only if there is a certain observation, then you have to do something, or there might be a time delay between different interventions. Can you model it too?
Information model? Yes, Marta, you can answer.
I think I know what you asked, but I'm not sure. But there are possibilities in the EHRs to put in free text if you need to specify more, like, for instance, do this much time a day or at this time of day. You can put that in as free text. Was that what you asked?
Or sometimes if something didn't work, you'll have to do something else. You've got an...
Yeah, you can document on an intervention and archive that and choose a different intervention, for instance. But it's wise then to say we stopped doing this intervention because it was redundant because the patient is better, or it's redundant because it didn't work. Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, we've got nothing online, so it definitely is a Friday and afternoon, I think. And so I'd just like to conclude the session. Thank you, Beate.